So we have to be very careful in these matters. If you are transferring from one branch to another branch or from one head office to another head office as a distinct person, what my suggestion is, declare or pay proper tax. Not for the simple reason is if the credit is fully available. Secondly, language written is there provided where the full input tax credit is available to the recipient. What do you mean by full input tax credit? Whether it is saying about that particular transaction कि उसका पूरा इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट है, या इट इज सेइंग दैट रिसिपिएंट को सारे ट्रांजैक्शन के लिए पूरा इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट अवेलेबल है. देयर इज नो क्लैरिफिकेशन इन दिस मैटर. So what I would like to draw your attention here is that in case of the distinct person transaction or unrelated person transaction, please it is better that you pay tax at open market value or valuation rules given there, and not to do any fancy transaction because it may land us into trouble in future. Though there are strong evidence, or I can say there are strong corroborative evidence that maybe in future it may be proved that you can transfer it anywhere. But this is for your own safety. Now, section 17, subsection 1. What it says that if your input tax credit has been used for a business purpose, then ITC available. If it is used for any other purpose, then ITC is not available. It is simple as that. That if you are using any goods for a business purpose, then ITC available. If you are using it for any other purpose, then ITC is not. So use now. Second is the case of input tax credit, which is used partly for taxable supplies and partly for non-taxable supplies. So what are taxable supplies? The output supply, whether goods or services, on which you are discharging tax, it is a taxable supply, and in that case ITC is available. Zero rated supply, as we all know, as per section 16, if you are making any export or making supply to any SEZ, it will be treated as a zero. Non-taxable supply, we know the definition, that which is not chargeable to tax under this act. Exempt supply include non-taxable supply and nil. In these cases, ITC is not available for the simple reason being, if your output is not taxable, your input, you cannot avail the benefit of input tax credit because you have been given credit only to save the cascading effect of the tax. Now, one important thing which I would like to say here. We will talk about valuation rules. I will discuss detail there, but what I would like to draw your attention, please take note. Suppose I am purchasing certain goods on which I have paid input tax credit. Suppose I have purchased 100 quantity of goods on which I have claimed input tax credit, and now I am using it for two commodities, selling two commodities. One commodity selling price is 100 rupees and another commodity selling price is 500. One commodity selling price is 100 rupees, one commodity selling price is 500. 100 rupees commodity is taxable, 500 selling commodity is non-taxable, or we can say it is an exempt. And we have used equal inputs in both the commodities. I have used equal input in both the commodities. Now, if we see section 40, if we see rule 42, readable rule section 17(2), it says that where the input tax credit has been used partly for taxable supplies and partly for exempt supplies, I have to reverse input tax credit on certain formula which is written there, in which turnover is the criteria. Now what I will do, I will suppose the credit was 100 rupees, I will take credit of 100 rupees, and since my majority has been used in exempt supplies, I will reverse credit of 100 into 500 by 600. So my question is, can there be any other method? What I understood by reading the provisions and rules, yes, there can be a different. What I can say, I will discuss more in Rule 42. What I can say, at the time of taking credit only, I knew that my input output ratio is this. At the time of taking credit only, I knew that my input output ratio is there. 50% for this, 50% is this. I will take credit only of 50%. I will not take credit of 50%, which has been used for exempt supply. So, as per my interpretation, if I take credit of only 50% at the beginning, I am not required to reverse the credit by this formula. This is my interpretation, because what it will do, it will lead to higher amount of credit. And actually it should be like this only. If I have used the credit for making, why you are linking only to the turnover? It has to be linked with my input output. So I will discuss some more in while discussing rule 42. For now, this is only. Now question is, the value of exempt supply in section 17 subsection 3, they have written that the value of exempt supply under subsection 2 shall be such as may be prescribed, and shall include the supplies on which, sorry, and shall include the supplies on which recipient is liable to pay tax on reverse charge basis, transaction in securities, sale of land, and subject to clause B, sale of building. So normally, sale of land, transaction in securities, these are no supply. Either they are not covered under the definition of goods, or they are not either treated as a supply of goods nor a supply of services. So just for the purpose of this section, for the purpose of valuation of exempt supply for Rule 42 and Rule 43, do I have to include it in the value? This is a big question. When we will discuss Rule 42, I will tell more about it. But the what is written, normally these are not exempt supply. But for the purpose of Rule 42, you have to include it in the value. Now they have written one explanation that the which has been inserted by the way of CGST Amendment Act 2018. What earlier used to happen, that they have given this value of exempt supply, and exempt supply definition has been given that it includes non-taxable supply. What used to happen, that there were many interpretation in which those were not even supplied were included for the purpose of reversal as an exempt supply. So the government, by inserting a explanation, has written that for the purposes of this subsection, the expression value of exempt supply shall not include the value of activities or transactions specified in Schedule 3, except those specified in paragraph 5 of the said schedule, which is pertaining to land. This is inserted by the CGST Amendment Act 2018. To my interpretation, though it has been inserted by the CGST Amendment Act 2018, what I think that it has to be given a retrospective effect, because this is just a clarificatory in nature. You cannot reverse input tax credit in respect of those supplies which were not even supplies. You have yourself written that activities not to be treated as a supply of goods nor a supply of services. In those cases, actually there should not have been reversal from the beginning. So as per my interpretation, this shall not include, this shall be applicable from 1st July 2017 and not from the date on from which CGST Amendment Act has been enacted. This is a provision in relation to banking companies, section 17, subsection 4, that a banking company or a financial institution has a option that they can take input tax credit of 50%, of eligible input tax credit of 50%, and option once availed shall not be drawn withdrawn during the remaining part of the financial year. However, if the transaction is being made between two persons having a same permanent number, this condition will not be applicable, and in that case, full credit will be applicable. Section 17, subsection 5. That is, this is the blocked credit. This is the only place in section 17 where they have written that in these cases, credit will not be available. There were changes in it, so I will try to compare between, I will try to draw a comparison between the old provision as well as the new provision for a better understanding. So what was written in the CGST Act 2017 was, ITC for the motor vehicle on transportation of persons will not be available except when they are used for the transportation of goods. Here it is written that motor vehicle and other conveyances, except is it be transportation of goods, making the following taxable supplies: further supply of such motor vehicles, transportation of passengers, or imparting training for such vehicles or motor for such motor vehicles. What earlier used to, जो पहले हुआ वो ये हुआ कि ITC फॉर मोटर व्हीकल ऑन को अलाउ किया सिर्फ इन पर्पस के। व्हाट इट क्रिएटेड ए डिलेमा, जैसे फोर्कलिफ्ट थी, जेसीबी मशीन थी, क्या इनका क्रेडिट मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि दे आर covered under the definition of other conveyances, but they are not used for the transportation of goods, because we cannot say that JCB machine जो खुदाई का काम करती है, it is used for the transportation of goods. Neither it can be said that it is used for the transportation of passengers, so it created a problem. Another thing, in 1718 there was a confusion that क्योंकि इसमें एक जगह लिखा हुआ नेमली, तो क्या अगर इनका क्रेडिट अवेलेबल नहीं है तो क्या जो मोटर व्हीकल जो अलग जिनका क्रेडिट अवेलेबल नहीं है उनसे रिलेटेड इंश्योरेंस का या रिपेयर्स का क्रेडिट मिलेगा? टू माय इंटरप्रिटेशन मिलेगा। टू माय इंटरप्रिटेशन 1 फरवरी 2019 तक मोटर व्हीकल अदर कन्वेंसेस का इंश्योरेंस रिपेयर का क्रेडिट मिलेगा। This was also clarified in a tweet by the government. दो इसकी लीगल सेंटिटी नहीं है, लेकिन टू माय इंटरप्रिटेशन वहां पर वर्ड यूज किया है नेमली, तो इट शुड बी रिस्ट्रिक्टेड ओनली टू दिस कंडीशन। वहां पर इंश्योरेंस और रिपेयर के केस में क्रेडिट की रिस्ट्रिक्शंस नहीं होनी चाहिए, मेरे इंटरप्रिटेशन के मुताबिक मिलेगा। नाउ व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन? मोटर व्हीकल for transportation of person having approved seating capacity of more than 13% including the driver. Motor vehicle for transportation of person, इसका मतलब motor vehicle transportation of person having approved capacity of more than 13%. तो अगर transportation of person के लिए यूज हो रही है और approved seating capacity 13 से कम है तो क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा। इसका मतलब इसके अलावा सारी चीजों का क्रेडिट मोटर व्हीकल का जो कि ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ पर्सन में यूज नहीं हो रही है मिल जाएगा। फॉर एग्जांपल फोर्कलिफ्ट, फॉर एग्जांपल जेसीबी मशीन, इनका क्रेडिट पहले डिनाय हो जाता था, डिनाय या बोलूं लिटिगेटिव मैटर था, लेकिन अब क्लियरली है कि इनका क्रेडिट मिल जाए। नाउ सपोज आपने आपकी फैक्ट्री में एम्प्लॉइज के लिए बस रखी, आपने आपकी फैक्ट्री में एम्प्लॉइज के लिए बस रखी, के मुताबिक आपको क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन अभी के मुताबिक इसका क्रेडिट आपको मिल जाए। कुछ और चीजें, मोटर व्हीकल्स की डेफिनेशन मोटर व्हीकल एक्ट में दी गई है। मोटर व्हीकल का जो डेफिनेशन वहां लिखा है, एक बार आप भी पढ़िएगा कि having wheels less than 4, जो exactly I am not remembering it, but having wheels less than 4, इसका मतलब ये है कि having wheels less than 4 would not classify under the definition of motor vehicle. For example, you have a motorcycle, motorcycle definition is given as two-wheeled motor vehicle, two-wheeled vehicle. तो उस केस में देयर मे बी एन इंस्टेंस जहां पर आपको मोटरसाइकिल का क्रेडिट मिल जाए. जस्ट चेक इट as per the definition of motor vehicle. Okay. Vessels and aircraft. So ITC for vessels and aircraft except when they are used for the transportation of goods, making the following taxable supplies: further supply of such vehicles or aircraft, transportation of passenger, or imparting training on navigating such vehicles, imparting training on flying such aircraft. For example, मुकेश अंबानी जी ने अपने लिए पर्सनल एक एयरक्राफ्ट खरीद लिया कि मैं उससे इधर उधर जाऊंगा, तो इन दैट केस इट विल नॉट बी द जीएसटी पेड ऑन सच परचेज ऑफ सच व्हीकल्स may not be eligible for credit because it is not used for the transportation of goods, it is not used for the following taxable services. In that case, credit in these circumstances will not be allowed. However, suppose Majors Indigo, which is an airline company, has purchased any vessels and aircraft, it will use it for either the transportation of goods or the transportation of passenger. In that case, credit will be eligible. Suppose कोई एयरलाइन कंपनी है, उसने कोई एयरलाइन ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट है, उसने कोई एयरक्राफ्ट खरीदा for the purpose of imparting training to its pilots or anything like that. In that case also credit will be eligible. अब इन क्रेडिट अवेलेबल हैं इनके. इसके बाद एक जगह लिखा गया है कि सर्विसेज ऑफ जनरल इंश्योरेंस सर्विसिंग, रिपेयर एंड मेंटेनेंस इन सो फार एज दे रिलेट टू मोटर व्हीकल, वेजल्स और एयरक्राफ्ट रेफर्ड टू इन क्लॉज ए और क्लॉज डबल ए. सिंपल मतलब मैं आपको अगर इस सिंपल भाषा में बोलूं तो अगर आपको वेजल्स, एयरक्राफ्ट या मोटर व्हीकल का क्रेडिट एलिजिबल है तो इनडायरेक्टली उसका मतलब ये हुआ कि आपको उससे रिलेटेड जनरल सर्विसिंग का, उसका रिपेयर का, उसका मेंटेनेंस का भी क्रेडिट एलिजिबल है. और अगर आप उनका प्रिंसिपल का क्रेडिट ही एलिजिबल नहीं है तो आपको बाकी चीजों का क्रेडिट एलिजिबल नहीं. नाउ इंपॉर्टेंट ब्लॉक क्रेडिट में आगे, सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज बीइंग फूड्स एंड बेवरेजेस, आउटडोर केटरिंग, ब्यूटी ट्रीटमेंट, कॉस्मेटिक एंड प्लास्टिक सर्जरी, लीज, रेंटिंग और हायरिंग ऑफ मोटर व्हीकल, लाइफ एंड इंश्योरेंस सर्विसेज allowed only if good services of a particular category are used towards making taxable outward supplies of the same category. For example, मैंने एक इवेंट रखा, या सपोज मेरी एक इवेंट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी है, मैं लोगों के लिए इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइज करता हूँ. उस इवेंट में मैं लोगों को होटल की सर्विसेज, उनकी अकोमोडेशन की सर्विसेज, उनकी लंच की सर्विसेज, उनको पिक एंड ड्रॉप की सर्विसेज, ये सारी सर्विसेज है. तो नॉर्मली अगर प्लेन पढ़ें तो हो सकता है मुझे लगे कि मुझे उसका क्रेडिट अवेलेबल नहीं है, लेकिन यहाँ पर क्योंकि मैं उसको एज एन एलिमेंट ऑफ टैक्सेबल सप्लाई मेरे यूज करता हूँ, आइदर एज ए कंपोजिट सप्लाई और आइदर एज ए मिक्स सप्लाई, तो इस केस में मुझे क्रेडिट अवेलेबल, इस केस में मुझे क्रेडिट अवेलेबल. तो इसमें एक एडवांस रूलिंग भी है, यू कैन राइट इट डाउन. दैट इज इन केस ऑफ राजस्थान कॉर्पोरेटेड बॉक्सेस लिमिटेड. यहाँ पर यही था कि एक एग्जीबिशन लगाई थी, वो एग्जीबिशन से रिलेटेड कुछ एंट्री फीस थी, स्पॉन्सरशिप, कुछ खाने का खर्चा था, होटल अकोमोडेशन का खर्चा था. तो assessee asked from the department that whether I would be eligible to take credit in respect of it. Department gave the ruling that yes, you are eligible to take the credit. Now one important thing, that leasing, renting or hiring of motor vehicle, life insurance and health services, membership of a club, health and fitness center, travel benefits extended to allowed only if it is obligatory for a employer to provide same to an employee under any law for the time being in force. एक कंफ्यूजन था कि क्या ये सिर्फ इन चार चीजों जो रेड में मैंने जो कट नहीं करी है उस पर एप्लीकेबल है, या सारी चीजें ऊपर से जो की हुई है उस पर एप्लीकेबल है। तो टू द बेस्ट ऑफ माई इंटरप्रिटेशन एंड व्हाट आई हैव बीन एबल टू ड्रॉ, ये सारी चीजों पे एप्लीकेबल है। एंड व्हाट इज इट्स इम्प्लीकेशन, वो हम समझने की कोशिश करें। सपोज कर्नाटका में ये बोला, कर्नाटका में रूल है, मान लीजिए कि आप जितनी भी फीमेल एम्प्लॉय जो शाम को वर्क कर रही हैं उनको आपको घर तक जाने के लिए कैब की फैसिलिटी देनी है। आपको जितनी भी फीमेल एम्प्लॉयज वर्क कर रही हैं आपको उनको घर तक जाने की फैसिलिटी देनी है। नॉर्मली रेंट कैब का मुझे क्रेडिट अलाउ नहीं होता, इस केस में मुझे अलाउ होगा। इस केस में मुझे अलाउ होगा क्योंकि इट इज एन ऑब्लिगेटरी फॉर द एम्प्लॉयर टू प्रोवाइड द सेम टू एन एम्प्लॉय अंडर द लॉ फॉर द टाइम। अनदर क्वेश्चन, सपोज फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट की एक रिक्वायरमेंट है कि जहां पर भी 250 वर्कर्स से ज्यादा रहेंगे वहां पर आपको कैंटीन की फैसिलिटी देनी है। वहां पर आपको कैंटीन की फैसिलिटी देनी है, ये फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट का मान लीजिए रिक्वायरमेंट। अब इसमें मैं 3 अलग अलग चीजें बोलूंगा, ध्यान से सुनिएगा, इंपॉर्टेंट। पहली चीज, मुझे कैंटीन की फैसिलिटी देनी है, मैं मेरे एम्प्लॉइज से कोई भी पैसा कलेक्ट नहीं करता। मुझे कैंटीन की फैसिलिटी देनी है, मैं मेरे एम्प्लॉइज से कोई भी पैसा कलेक्ट नहीं करता। जब मैं मेरे एम्प्लॉइज से कोई भी पैसा कलेक्ट नहीं करता, इसका मतलब ये उनके परक्यूसेट में शामिल है, और क्योंकि परक्यूसेट में शामिल है तो देयर इज नो सप्लाई। सेकंड क्वेश्चन इज, कैन आई टेक द क्रेडिट ऑफ कैंटीन एक्सपेंडिचर, जो मैंने उसके खाने के खर्च के लिए लिया है। देयर मे बी सिनेरियो जहां पर मैं इसका क्रेडिट ले सकता हूं, लिटिगेट सकता हूं, क्योंकि इट हैज बीन यूज्ड इन कोर्स एंड फर्दरेंस ऑफ माय बिजनेस एंड इट वाज द रिक्वायरमेंट एज पर फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट 1948 सपोज। सेकंड पार्ट, नाउ मैं अपने एम्प्लॉइज को कंसेशनल रेट में फैक्ट्रीज में सर्विसेज देता हूँ। कंसेशनल रेट में फैक्ट्रीज में सर्विस देता हूँ। मान लीजिए 50 रुपए पर प्लेट का खाना आता है, मैं एम्प्लॉइज से 10 रुपए चार्ज करता हूँ। तो क्या इस केस में मुझे आउटवर्ड सप्लाई पे टैक्स देना पड़ेगा? हाँ, देना पड़ेगा, एंड नॉट ऑन 10 रुपीज, क्योंकि वो मेरे रिलेटेड पार्टी ट्रांजेक्शन है। तो मुझे ओपन मार्केट वैल्यू जो इस केस में 50 रुपए आएगी उस पर टैक्स देना पड़ेगा। क्या इस केस में मुझे इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट मिलेगा? तो इसका आंसर जो है वो है नहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि ये बोला गया है कि अगर आप कोई कैंटीन सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड कर रहे हो जहां पर आप टैक्स वसूल रहे हो 5% की दर से, जैसे यहाँ पर, उस केस में यू हैव नो इनपुट टैक्स। दीज आर माय थॉट्स। आप इसको फर्दर सर्च कीजिए, इसकी इम्प्लीकेशन देखिए, लेकिन दिस इज एज पर माय थॉट। अनदर थिंग, सेक्शन 17(5) सब सेक्शन सी, जो जीएसटी का वन ऑफ द मोस्ट डिबेटेड सेक्शंस में से है, सी और डी। तो वन इज वर्क कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सर्विसेज एक्सेप्ट वेयर इट इज एन इनपुट सर्विस फॉर फर्दर सप्लाई ऑफ द वर्क कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। अब जैसा कि हमको मालूम है कि व्हाट इज वर्क कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सर्विस, व्हाट इज वर्क कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सर्विसेज। सो what do you mean by the work contract services? As we know that prior to GST, even movable property, there were some there were many things in which even though movable property was involved, it was considered as a work contract services, and there were n number of litigation, whether it is in the matter of service tax, whether it is in the matter of VAT pertaining to this thing. Now in GST, as per section 2119, they have defined work contract service, in which they have clearly written, apart from other things, that there is a transfer of property involved which is pertaining to immovable property. So now one of our headache is gone. We have to first find out whether it is a movable property or immovable property. It is an immovable property, then it is a work contract. So suppose I am a builder and I have given a contract to one contractor for making my building. So strictly speaking, if that builder is providing work contract services, as it is in matter of immovable property and there is a transfer of property involved, so for me As per section 17(5) subsection D, goods and services received by a taxable person for construction of immovable property on his own account. As I am making the building for my own purpose, credit is not. Scenario is number 2. Now suppose I have no intention of uh, uh, मतलब selling the building, मतलब holding for making the building for my own. I have the intention of booking the building to the various persons. So in that scenario, I will be availing services which will be of work contract services, and what services I am giving will also be a work contract services if I am taking payment in parts and not in one go, and it will be construed as a work contract. So work contract services, if it is an input service for further supply of work contract services, then credit available. Otherwise, credit is not available. These are the basics. However, it contains some exceptions. One is they have given the definition of construction. They have said that construction include renovation, reconstruction, addition, alteration, or repair to the extent of capitalization. It means that suppose I have taken any work contract service and that work contract service is not capitalized in my immovable property but has been charged off as an expense in my profit and loss account, then in that case it will not be construed as in relation to immovable property, but it will be construed it will be construed as in relation to immovable property, but credit will be allowed because it has not been capitalized in the books of the. So we have to see, it can't be that something which was of a revenue nature and we have something which was a capitalized nature and we have intentionally wrote it off. It will be governed by the relevant accounting standard or Ind AS. But if it is if it of such nature that it can be charged off as a revenue expense, then creditable. Secondly, if it is not charged off as an expense, but also it has been used in the plant and machinery, plant and machinery definition has been given in the act. Plant and machinery means the apparatus, equipment, or something fixed to earth. This definition has been given. In that case, if it has been used for the plant and machinery also, then credit is available. There are certain exceptions that if it is in matter of plant and machinery, but used for telecommunication towers or laying of pipelines or used for building or other civil structures, then it cannot, then the credit cannot be taken. There is one very beautiful advanced ruling in this matter, that is in the matter of Niroho Limited. If I am recalling it properly, it is in the matter of Niroho Limited, where a company has asked that I am capitalizing these assets as a plant of machinery, whether I am eligible for credit for it. So advanced ruling authority has very beautifully examined each and every item and accordingly given the eligibility. So in case if in future also you want to refer, it is a very good advanced ruling. Niro Limited, what I can remember. Otherwise, I will share it. Another matter. There is one important High Court ruling in this matter, that is in the matter of Safari Retreats Limited. What the matter is? In this matter, there is one organization known as Safari Retreats Limited, Private Limited, which is in the business of making uh, uh, which is in the business of malls, and they let out the property of malls on rent. The applicant was having a very considerable amount of input tax credit, and they contended it with the government that